Good morning, Internet fans. Ryan Perry here. Simple Biz Support. Today is Thursday, August 27th. Therefore, it is Internet Marketing Thursday. And therefore, I do have Virginie Dorn with Business Website Center. Good morning, Virginie.
Happy Thursday, Mr. Ryan Perry.
Happy Thursday. Yes, it's finally warming up a little bit here in Sonoma County, which is great to feel after the last few days of cold weather that we had.
Cold weather. It was in the 70s. It was 90 yesterday. So you're
90 is nice, 70 is cold, but that's all good. We actually have quite a bit to cover today in our continuing episodes of website trends heading into 2016. And specifically today, we're going to talk about responsive design and how responsive design should really change for the device. And again, responsive is that a website looks one way on a large monitor, another way on a tablet, and then another way on a mobile device. And originally when responsive websites came out, it was about making the pictures either bigger or smaller, and then of course having the text be readable, and then actually being able to have clickable links on a smartphone. But today, as technology grows, as we become better adapt at building websites for multiple platforms, people are kind of rethinking how they actually lay the page out for mobile devices.
Absolutely. The technology is at a point now and you pretty much can do anything you wish with your website when it displays on a smartphone or a tablet. And smartphones are the ones that are most affected because the screen size is so small and the attention span of the user is very small and their patience level is very short as well. So you really want to grab what they need to be seeing on a smartphone. You don't want to just be putting the entire website on a smartphone. It just doesn't work anymore. And now with technology, we can do that. So we can hide elements, like you mentioned, we can make things smaller, bigger, style them differently. But the hiding of elements or placing them in a different part of the page is what's more exciting with the new coding techniques. So today we'll be showing you some examples to illustrate what we're talking about.
Okay, perfect. And what I think's really interesting is that, typically before you would build a website for a web browser full size, and then it would basically, you chose the order that all the different elements on the big page would show on a smartphone. So essentially all the content that you would see on a 22-inch or a 32-inch monitor, back in the day, you were essentially compressing that and fitting it into this little itty bitty screen, here on a smartphone. And so you'd have to scroll and scroll, and sometimes you would have images that weren't relevant to the text, and it was just kind of clunky. So one of the cool things that I think that you're saying that I want people to hear is that you can actually remove elements so that now you're essentially building two webs, one, but you're able to build a website that really makes sense for the user experience. And I think that's the key thing, is the user experience that's relevant on a small screen versus a large monitor.
Yes, it's all about the user experience, making sure they like what they see, and if they want more information, they can read on or go on the regular desktop and see the full version. But
Right.
we're talking about the same website, by the way. It's the same code, but there's additional code hiding elements. So we're not talking like in the old days when you had a mobile website and you had a desktop website. This is one and the same, but just with added coding called media query, where we can manipulate what we want the user to see.
Right. No, so when I said two websites, you're not building two websites. However, when you log in on a smartphone, or you open up on a smartphone, the website knows. So what was that media query?
Yes.
Is that what you said it was?
Yes.
Okay.
Fancy.
All right. Well, let's maybe we should just go into it. So what are some examples, or where would you like to start as far as design ideas? Because really, this should give you, as a business owner or somebody that's looking to redesign their website, a different way, unique perspective at looking at what is capable, so that when you're working with a graphic designer, may it be somebody local or Virginie, you kind of understand that the sky's the limit.
Yes, so let's take a look at the I use my personal website as an example. As you can see, this is the homepage on a full-size desktop, so what you would see in your office. It has a slider with a slide moving in, some text left and right, images, very busy, lots of things to look at, lots of gimmicky items. Now I'm going to switch to a second tab. It's going to show you a screenshot of my phone from a couple of minutes ago. This is the same home page. You might recognize the lady with the blue eye, but all of the elements above it has been removed. It was just too much to put there, too hard for people to see. And so let's go back here. You can see here just the menu alone. All of this here has been streamed down to this. So the top header used to have our email, social media icons, you name it. We really stripped it down to two things: phone number, which is clickable, and visit our blog, which has our weekly webinars and other posts, and our brand, which is right in the middle. The menu has been collapsed. We're all familiar with those now. You click on it, it will collapse. The slideshow is now a static image, the one that we felt was best with our style and branding. We placed the testimonial, which we had here. We used the most important one. So we actually took the liberty or deleted the second one. We just didn't want a list of testimonial. We also removed this on the side. So as you can see now, it's very clean, and they can scroll down, of course. This is just a static screenshot. Any questions so far?
Not so far. And what's really nice about this is that when you're on a mobile device, not only is the real estate much smaller, but like you said, the attention span is much smaller also, or limited, and therefore you really need to get to the point. And I love that you removed a lot of the distractions from the mobile device.
Yes, we wanted to really look slick and modern. Now the same happens for the footer. So this is the header and the slider. But if I scroll down, we have quite a large footer. Even in the bottom, all rights reserved. We have a bunch of extra links. If you go on a smartphone, as you can see, our footer here is being streamlined as well. The all rights reserved, we removed it. We centered everything, and we only put 3 links when that was more important to us, which is a link back to the homepage, the showroom, which is our photo gallery, and our testimonials page. So again, we took this footer here and stripped it down to something that made sense for that type of user.
Right. And the other thing that I like about that, and we talked about this in an earlier episode, is that when you scroll to the bottom, you've now reached the end, and that is a great place to have a call to action. So I love that you have not only is your phone number down there, but you have a call to action for a consultation, your branding's there. So now that people get there, it's like, okay, what do I do? Do I scroll up, or am I ready to make a decision and go ahead and call you?
Yeah, and we could even take it a step further. But as always, we offer a complimentary consultation. This could have been skipped, truly. I mean, it's not needed. We could have stripped it down even more. So once in a while, when we have extra times, we go back to our own website, and what we do is remove more stuff. So we're simplifying. That's the new trend. Now, the same is true for photo gallery. So in a sense, if you have a lot of photos on your website, you might not want to show all of them unless they are fully optimized with their dimensions and size. Oftentimes, we will recommend people to select the most powerful and relevant photos and only display those. And then we will take it a step further and maybe even reduce the photo size and resolution so it downloads better on a tablet and a smartphone. So it pretty much tells the website, hey, this person is on a smartphone, choose option B of that photo, and then hide photos 12 through 24. That way, the page downloads very quickly, and again, the attention span of the user is being kept up.
All right, and download speed on mobile device is important because it is one of the factors that Google looks at, not only on your browser side, but definitely on the mobile side also. Simply because people are on, typically they're not always on Wi-Fi. They could be on their actual cellular
Yes.
using up bandwidth, and so we want to minimize that impact as much as possible.
Yes. So always pick a photo that is the most relevant and the most powerful to convey the message you're trying to convey online, and just choose that one. And it's very difficult for all of us to just show less, but it's so easy to say, I want to show my entire portfolio. We are as guilty as everybody else. Our portfolio page is not that stripped down on the smartphone. It could be way more stripped down. But again, show less, so then the focus is better for the user. Now, so we talked about handling and hiding elements, but also images, but also text. So text on the smartphone should be displayed nicely, and sometimes we will remove text when it's maybe redundant or not as important, and really keep what's most important. So in that example here, we just skip one testimonial for that page instead of displaying the 4 or 5 that was on that page. And as you can see, it's styled properly. You need to make sure there's also a little bit of padding on left and right. Sometimes people go too far to the edge, and on some smartphone with a cover, they're missing some of the lettering because their case cover is covering it. So make sure it just has a good feeling about it. Choose the right font size for a smartphone user. And the same is true for tablets, but tablet is not as peaky because it has a bigger screen size, and a lot of things can be left on a tablet. So it's
right. And sorry, I was going to say, and the other thing is people that have a lot of clickable links on a smartphone, that may not be as relevant simply because it's not always easy to click on the link.
Correct. So just pick the most important links, hide the others. Other things, we talk about call to action and maybe making things bigger. Like on our contact page, the contact our team today is pretty bold. We got rid of the image. It's just that our blue with font then is centered and bolded and bigger. Can't miss it. That's the whole idea of a call to action. You don't want people to miss it. You don't want it too subtle.
Right.
And then the same thing for like contact form as well. Just make sure everything makes sense. So on our contact form, the text explaining the fields that need to be entered is inside the boxes. Now I can myself see a critique here. For instance, company name and domain name, if applicable, we should have just skipped and domain name on the smartphone because it's not going to be fully visible because of the screen size, as you can see. So that's something we're going to be removing shortly, now that I noticed that.
Right. It's, and it's interesting how you look over something, you look over it, and after a while, you kind of notice different things. And really, the fact is, web design, regardless of, if it's for a website or for mobile device, your website's really never done. It should always be tweaked a little bit, and it should always be changed and updated as the times and the technology changes also.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can work on it forever and ever.
And ever. But that's how you make money, so that's a good thing.
Yes, indeed. But set your budget. You just talk to your webmaster. They should understand what we're talking about. If they don't, you need a new webmaster.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I think it's almost, you have to really, it's something you have to wrap your brain around. It's not just the coding side of things, but being able to understand what the user experience is. It's kind of like, basically your website, and we got to end this real quickly here, but you got to think of your website as a marketing piece. Just like a postcard, just like a billboard is if you were going to put an ad on a billboard. And the reality is the message that you put on a billboard for people that are driving in vehicles down a freeway doing 65 or 80 miles per hour is going to be very different than the message that you put on a postcard that someone's going to pull out of their mailbox along with other junk mail, because people are in a different frame of mind. They're going to be able to see it differently, and therefore the way you present it and the way the way you present it and your message needs to be uniquely different for each one of those. Same thing is true with your website. On a full screen, you want to use that real estate. You have it. That's where you can get a little bit fancier. You can be really bold. However, understand that how the user is going to interact with something on a mobile device is going to be very different. They may be on the fly, especially if you're a restaurant or something where they just need an address or a phone number or a menu. Make those things really easy to find, because now you're making the user experience a positive one, and therefore they're more likely to buy from you.
Yes, I agree 100%.
All right, perfect. With that, then we should probably get going because it is 10 a.m. However, I will see you again next Thursday, where we're going to be talking about another internet marketing tip that'll make your life so much better.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right, Virginie, and everybody else out there, thanks for watching the show, and we will see you next week. Take care.